And then this is our Intro to Networking workshop. And then before we get started, we would just like to take a couple minutes to say a land acknowledgement, and I'll go ahead and get started with that. We recognize that many of us at the Seattle CSF office live and or work on near the ancestral homeland of the Coast Salish people. Since we're gathered virtually, we want to acknowledge the lands of the Muckleshoot, Squamish, Duwamish, and all other traditional lands we may be on. It is important that we take this moment to recognize that we have and continue to benefit from the use and occupation of this land even before the US was formed as a nation. We also have the responsibility to acknowledge the forced removal of the indigenous people from their land. In light of the in light of this history, let us take active efforts to dismantle the continued oppression of indigenous communities and seek justice. We shall work to learn more and to uplift their voices, experiences, and histories of the indigenous people of this land and beyond. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and have you all get started with this pre-survey. Liz will drop it in the chat if that's a little bit easier, and or you can scan this QR code. It's just a quick survey. Let us know what you know about networking. We want to know your thoughts before, and then we'll want to hear a little bit more at the end. But if you guys want to take a few minutes here to fill this out, let us know. And then once you've completed the survey, just give us a thumbs up with the reaction or a thumbs up in the chat. That'll let us know that we can go ahead and get started, but we'll give you guys a couple minutes to fill this out.
I have one question.
Yes,
About the email address needs to be the Highline email, like a college email. It can be your personal.
it can be your personal.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for the thumbs up, letting us know that you guys have completed it. I appreciate that. Thank you, Brian. And thank you for being here, Brian. I remember you from the escape room. I did that little shameless plug about our workshop and you were there. So thank you for showing up.
Yeah, of course.
We'll give folks a couple more minutes to finish up. Once you're done, you can let us know in the chat and then we'll move on. Perfect. All right, and we can go ahead and move along. If you're finishing up, please feel free to do that. We're just gonna move on to our next activity here. So to get started, I would like for us to do a quick warm up. Just introduce yourself. This will be done in smaller breakout rooms. So you will be divided up into groups. One thing that you want to pay attention to is what group you will in. So it'll say room 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Um, so essentially, what I'm asking of all of you that are here today is to essentially state your name, your pronouns if you're comfortable, share your zodiac and your birth dates, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then tell us what's the next thing you're excited about. So an example would be me. My name is Brenda, she, her pronouns. I'm a Leo. My zodiac sign is a Leo, and then my birthday is August 3rd. And then something that I'm excited about is I'll be going to a concert in July. It's a Latin group that I like grew up on when I was a kid, and they're coming to Seattle for the first time. And they're called Aventura. So I'm really, really stoked about that. So I'll have you guys share that out in your rooms. It can be academic, non-academic, whatever is going on in your life and you're really excited to and are looking forward to and would like to share with your small group. That would be awesome. One thing about your birthdays that I will be asking all of you to do is share your birth years. Because the youngest person in the group will be our spokesperson, and the spokesperson can either share out someone else, like someone else's information if they feel comfortable doing so, and or they can just share out a little bit about themselves once we join back in the main group. So does anybody have any questions or need further clarification about what we will be doing out in these small breakout rooms? Thank you, Zach. You're always awesome with that. So we're going to share this. Make sure you guys identify the youngest member in your group, and the youngest person will come back and share into the main group. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys into breakout rooms, and then you'll be in there for about 5 minutes, and we'll get like a minute or two to share out when we come back. And then just pay attention to what room you are in as well. And they should be open for you guys. And you can pause the recording, Liz, if you haven't already. All right. Thank you all for taking the time to be in the breakout rooms. I hope that was enough time for you guys to share out. And if it wasn't, we'll definitely have another opportunity for you to interact with each other and get into a smaller breakout room again a little bit towards the end of our presentation. But if we could have, at least your youngest person from group 1 get started, and please just share out either yourself or another individual in your group.
Okay, so my name is Yemi and my pronouns are she, her. My zodiac sign is a Capricorn and my birthday is January 2nd, 2004. Something I'm excited about would be graduating this year for my AA transportation.
Yay, congratulations. Thank you so much for sharing, Yenny.
Thank you.
Let's see. Renato, you are
Alina said
group
room
4. Yes, group 4. And if we want to get one more volunteer, one more group, or if there's a volunteer that would like to go,
It could
Renato,
be
if you would
me.
like to go.
I can do it.
Yeah, sure. Oh, go ahead, Leo.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm in room second, I think. So it's
Mhm.
two. Room 2.
Yeah.
My name is, I have a long name, I would say. I have Leonardo Flores Perez because I'm Mexican. So in Mexico, you have 2 last names. So, but you can call me Leo, everybody. My name is Leo. My pronouns will be he, him. And my zodiac sign, it will be Libra, because my birthday is on October, so it's gonna be October 5, 2004.
Okay.
And something that I'm excited about is that my passport came last week. I just planned
Nice.
events.
Love that.
Going to Mexico. Yeah, that's
I
it.
love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
And I hope everyone got the opportunity to share and enjoyed this activity. It was really fun making it, and I hope you learned something new from someone else. So thank you all for taking the time to be in these small breakout rooms. And then we're gonna go ahead and start digging in a little bit further into what networking is, and I will go ahead and pass the mic to Liz.
All right, sweet. Okay. Yeah, thanks everyone for sharing a little bit about yourselves. I know nothing about zodiac signs, but I do like hearing what people are looking forward to for the weekend and life in general, so I can go out and copy them and have some fun. So now that we know a little bit about each other, like Brenda said, we're gonna kind of get into the thick of what networking is. Before we do all of that fun stuff, I really just want to take a moment to pause and ask you to think about and reflect on what networking makes you feel like. I know it's a rather odd question, but I think it's a really important one to kind of inventory how you feel about networking. I'll say for some of you on the call, maybe your first or second year or more, networking can feel like a deep sense of dread. I know that's how it felt like for me when I was in college. It really takes putting yourself out there, pushing yourself past your comfort zone, which isn't always particularly fun. And then there's going to be a whole other spectrum of y'all who feel an adrenaline rush when you network with people and you get this giddiness or sense of excitement. So, again, take a moment to pause, think about how you have networked before, and maybe a little bit about what that's looked like in action, and then come off of mute, maybe one or two of you, and just share your general thoughts. Doesn't have to be a long, drawn out answer. It can be, I feel scared. I feel nervous. I feel excited. I feel hopeful. Come off of mute and let me know what you feel about networking.
Should we put it on the chat?
You could also put it in the chat. Yes. All feelings about the thought of networking. And while you're typing or getting your thoughts ready, I'll share how I felt when I was in college. I, believe it or not, I look a little bit different now, but I felt a deep sense of dread and anxiety when it came to the thought of networking. And a lot of people would not guess that from me now, but it did. And so a couple of slides later, you'll look at my networking map and you'll be like, no, you probably didn't. That networking map is only as large as it is at the side of it because I networked forcefully for two reasons. In my junior and senior year, because I knew I was getting very close to needing a job, meaning a letter of recommendation, or I needed a referral to get into grad school. So that's my kind of thing. I am in the ever so dreadful, do not want to do it. Okay, who else? Networking gives me cringe. Feeling in the beginning. Okay, that's important, that last part. Probably nervous and not making, oh, you guys are too quick. You feel excited and happy to meet new people. See, you're all over the spectrum here. Okay. Does anybody have a story that they want to share about networking? Maybe why you're feeling that way. My feelings about networking gives me excitement. I have to sometimes remind myself to slow down. Okay. I like that. So what's important to know is that all of these realities are true. The way that you feel about networking impacts your willingness to want to network with people. So the goal of this presentation isn't to make you an expert, outgoing person and starting knocking on people's doors and networking with them. That would be a cool bonus, but it's really to get you comfortable with the idea of networking and wanting to do it once the time and the opportunities present itself. I'm also going to say that for the people who, like myself, feel extreme hesitancy and anxiety around the idea of networking, again, this is just to give you the tools. It's not going to eliminate the anxiousness, but it is hopefully going to make you feel just a tinge better. So there's that. This not quote, but definition of networking that you see on your screen, networking is the art of building and sustaining mutually beneficial relationships, is what Brenda and I found to be the most well-encompassing idea of networking. If you literally Google networking on the internet, there's so many drawn out answers of a weird means to an end thing where like networking is XYZ that leads to jobs, internships, and blah, blah, blah. We didn't really like that because it placed too much emphasis on outcomes, but we really like Diane's. She's a life coach and also she does coaching and then she does consulting work. We really liked hers because it really focused more so on relationships than what you can get from the person. And at the end of the day, that's what networking really meant to us. It's not how many people you have on your list, but just having really good, solid people in your corner at the end of the day. So we really like that. The last thing on the slide I want to touch on is just demystifying what networking is not. So a lot of us come into this room probably with this preconceived idea of networking is inherently self-serving or selfish, because you might have felt that either you have to give something in return to networking when you're networking, with people, which is just not true. And that first idea or bullet point kind of leads into the next one of I need to have plenty of contacts in my network to be good at networking. Also not true. And then the last one, which is probably the most important, and I have to remind myself of, is strong networking ties are your most valuable ties. So there's two things when you start your networking, you're going to have weak ties. I hate that we call it that, maybe less tapped into ties and then more tapped into ties. Don't discredit the weak ones, because sometimes those are the people that'll be able to help you out the most, even if you don't see them every day or every month. So just some demystification of networking, because I think sometimes when we get into the professional world or just out with our friends, these are some of the things socially that we're fed to believe about networking, and they're not true. So I'll go ahead and with that, move us into our next slide.
Yes, thank you, Liz. So you've heard the what is networking. So now we're going to learn a little bit about why networking is important. If you guys wouldn't mind, why do you think networking is important? So far, maybe what you've learned so far in the presentation, or what you already know prior to coming in today. Why do you think networking is important? Or you've been told it's important? Great way to make connections, yes. Best way to find jobs, references, and letters of recommendation. That's a big one. Build opportunities, yeah. Job internship opportunities, companies get a better understanding of you. Jobs, friends, you have access to places or people you never think of. Yes, that's very true. Expand your horizons. Absolutely. Yeah, so many of these examples that you guys are sharing out are all true. They all hold value to them. And in this portion of networking, I wanted to share the why. So essentially, after doing our research and having my own lived experiences, as Liz has as well, networking helps you build a foundation for your next career move, especially as as you guys are for most of you are first and second year students, or just general college students right now. This is important while you're in school, and even as you begin to think about graduation and then post graduation, you want to start thinking about where there's opportunity to network. Obviously it could be scary, but networking can help you build connections, have those put into place throughout your college career versus after the fact, right? It can strengthen your interpersonal skills, and then I can say, at least for myself, networking has been a very crucial part in my growth as a young professional, as well as, you know, sitting here today amongst you all, working in higher education. It's been a very, very important aspect of my life. And with that, I narrowed it down to the top three areas on why I think networking is important. So some of those areas are accessing resources, building connections, and job opportunities. And these, for me, somehow just align together. So essentially, I wanted to share a story with you all. I was in the College Success Foundation. For those that may not know me already, I was in the College Success Foundation as well. So I'm a college CSF alum. I was in the high school programs at the time, and I had a CPA. I ended up registering for CSF because their mission is to support, you know, low income first gen BIPOC students, and I identify as such. So I thought this was a good opportunity. So I sought that resource. I began the program. From then on, I connected with my CPA at the time. She helped me with college apps, just figuring out high school and growing with me as I was transitioning out. Um, she began she became a part of my network, um, my networking connection. So she became one of my many connections. So I went from accessing a resource, which is CSF, to building connections with her. I ended up graduating high school. I went to college at UW Tacoma. From then on, I remained in contact with her. I kind of updated her on what was going on in my life, what opportunities I was seeking. I went in originally wanting to pursue a degree in criminal justice. I absolutely hated it after the first quarter, and I changed my mind and I went into communications, which I ended up loving. And after doing that the first quarter, I ended up declaring my major as a communications major and then a minor in education. So she was in the loop about what was going on. From then on, I was in my junior year in college, still in touch with my CPA at the time, and I was letting her know, like, I'm looking for opportunities. I went to a four-year university, but I had a lot of responsibilities outside of school, and so I didn't get much time to do things. And I really wanted to experience something outside of just work and school. So I looked for internships, and I found one through the UW. It was a paid internship. Somehow, some way, I believe this was the universe. It ended up aligning where um, the internship that I was applying for was in connection with the old high school that I went to, and my former CPA was still working there, and the site supervisor was going to be her. So I ended up applying for the job, and it tells you, or in the application, it asks you like, um, did anybody recommend you this position, or who do you know? Like, how did you hear about this? And I told them, like, I heard this from my CPA. I put her name down, and they called me back and they let me know, like, oh, we've heard really good things about so and so. We're really good friends with so and so, and they actually told us about your application because I had mentioned to my CPA that I was looking for these opportunities just for me to land this job, thankfully. So it was a paid internship. From then on, I ended up actually finding my current position as a college coach right now through my CPA as well. She encouraged me to apply. I met amazing people through this. And with all of that big story, it's just to say that one person changed my life in the best possible way. And this person wasn't the CEO of a company. This person wasn't a millionaire. This person was someone that I saw in my daily life that as I was going to school Monday through Friday in high school, and then I remained in contact with them, you know, maybe chatting it up every once in a while. It's not to say like you have to meet with them every single day, but I kept in contact with this person from my junior year in high school up until up till today. I still remain in contact with this person, and they've helped build this huge portfolio for me of opportunities. They've been a letter of recommendation for me whenever I've needed it. So I just want you guys to understand that the importance of networking is allowing yourself to be put into uncomfortable situations. And the reason I say uncomfortable situations, because I know for some it may bring up anxiety or discomfort, or like, it makes you cringe. There's so many feelings, and they're all completely valid. But this story is just to tell you guys, one person can change your life. Don't overthink it. All those strong ties don't necessarily mean that that should be your only tie. One CPA changed my life forever, and built the foundation for me in my career in higher education. So I just wanted to share that with you all, and also to let you guys know. And obviously, you see in the presentation here, there's other common places for networking, not just by having a CPA. So you could do it in the library, in your classroom, in your day to day at your job. And we're going to learn a little bit more about the people that you might not consider a part of your network, but are very, very essential to it. So, all to say that networking is important because it helps you with your long-term goals. It helps you move towards the right direction. You just have to be willing to be in those uncomfortable situations, and be willing to make the commitment to yourself, like, hey, I'm going to start this conversation up with so and so. It could be it could be the person sitting right next to you right now if you have someone there, or someone outside the door. So yeah, that's why networking is very important. It'll help you strengthen those interpersonal skills, but it'll also help you as you are navigating college, help you obtain possibly a paid internship like myself, or help you select your next classes for next quarter. Just anything. There's a lot of opportunity in networking. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and move into a little quick fun activity with Liz, and I'll give Liz the mic and have her talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Okay, before all that though, the coolest slide on this deck. Sorry. This is my networking map, and it just brings me great joy to see all of these awesome people on one page because they truly shaped who I am today. I'm not going to go into story about all of them. They're just cool, and I wanted to highlight them. Thanks, shout out to Brenda for giving us the why. I don't know about y'all, but I struggle to make things happen when I don't have a why. If I don't know why I'm doing it, or how I'm going to benefit, or how I'm going to help support other people, I really don't have motivation to do it. And less so when it's hard and it's something I don't want to engage with. So thank you for that story. That was helpful. So now you know a little bit more, the surface level of the what and the why of networking, and you're probably asking, where do I start? Hopefully you're asking, where do I start? And that's a good question to be asking. My hope is that you can start network mapping today. So we're going to do, like Brenda said, a little bit of a breakout room where you have the opportunity to, in your groups, think of some people you have in your network, or, and this is probably going to be the case for most of you, the people you would like to see in your networking map. So if you click the link that Brenda's going to drop in the chat for us, it'll take you to something called Jamboard. And hello. Oh, Diana's here. Welcome. It'll take you to Jamboard, and you'll be able to read through the instructions, and go ahead and start at least thinking about the people that you want in your future in your network. So wonderful. Brenda's already sharing this with us. This is what it looks like. Notice that's group 1. So there will be different groups. Please only work on the slide that is yours. So up here, as she's directing me to, you have that nice little caret or arrow, whatever you want to call it. And that's for group 2. And then you can move forward, so on and so forth. Just make sure that you're working in the group that is assigned to you in the breakout room. But anywhoosie, just to give you a little of a demo, right there you have different colored cards, or sticky notes they're called in this app, that you can write the names of people you have just at the forefront of your mind. So for me right there under friends and family, that's me. I put my dad because he's a G. He's the greatest. He's a welder, he's a builder. And it's really to also showcase that you might not have very proper, formal, academic people in your networking map right now. but do not discredit your family, your friends of friends, your family, friends of friends, whoever they are. They still serve a purpose and a value in your personal professional life. That could be hooking up your DJ who does weddings with your, I don't know, coworker at work, with your person that sits to the left of you in class. It's all of these small things in relationship building that really matter. So I put friends and family, I put my dad under there, and I think Brenda had an example for academics.
Yeah, so obviously the directions are right here. And if you guys have any questions at the end before we put you into breakout rooms, please feel free to either put it in the chat or unmute yourself and let us know. But essentially, so Liz put under friends and family, dad, so builders and welders, that's one of her her people in her network. So for me, one thing that I wanted to show you guys live, especially if you're on a computer. So there's this center button where it says sticky notes, or you can control shift P. So I just click on the icon right here. I would click on it. You can either do that, or you can click on the color that you're going to be going under, and then just control C or copy and paste, and then it'll duplicate the sticky note. For me, at least under academics, I know one of mine would be Maylee. And then I'm gonna put Trio. So for me, Maylee is one of my students. So she is one of my second year students, and she's a part of this the Trio um, organization. I wasn't very familiar with this organization and all the resources that I offered, but it's very important to also know that as coaches, as staff, we are not just here as a resource, as a connection to you, but you are also a connection to us. And that's why it's very important for me to note that Maylee is one of my students. She is someone that I am very aware that is can be very involved on campus. And one of the ways that she's involved, aside from CSF, is also being involved on Trio. So I just, whenever I'm meeting with another student and they need additional resources or would like to know more about Trio, I follow up with Maylee and I'm like, hey, is there any way that I can connect you with so and so, or can I, sit down with you, get a little bit more information, and also I'll take the time to go talk to someone from Trio and just gain these resources. So this is just to know that the people closest to you can be a part of your network, and it doesn't always have to be coach to student, but or student to coach. It could be coach to student as well. So just taking that into
Yes.
consideration, this is just an example, but I'm gonna put you guys into breakout rooms, as Liz mentioned. So you guys will not be in the same rooms that you were initially, but just pay close attention to what room you are in. So it's gonna be room 1, 2, and 3, and it'll also work the same way with the document. So there's gonna be, this is group 1, and then if you're group 2, you go to 2. So just make sure you're sitting on the right slide. You don't need to finish this in its entirety, but at least jot one idea down for each group member. I think that would be helpful as we come back to the room in case, Liz, you have anything else to add before I send them off into their breakout rooms.
Just for the sake of time, we'll give you about 5 minutes. So don't feel some way about finishing this. It's just a start. So we can send them to the breakout rooms, Brenda.
Okay, perfect. So we'll be in there for about 5 minutes. I will let you guys know when you guys will need to come back beforehand. And then they should be opening up soon. Just keep an eye out to the room number and the slide you're on. And then Liz, you can pause the recording.
Woo, welcome back.
All right, Liz. Everyone should be back.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I dazed off there for a second. Thanks for all your hard work. Believe it or not, we were lurking in those pages and looking at some of the names that you put, and I was very surprised to see how quick they filled up. So thank you for your work on that. If anybody wants to put in the chat, I know that we are getting closer to ending the webinar, but if you'd like to put in the chat just your general sense of feeling, or was there any surprises maybe that came up for you? I'm just thinking about how easy or difficult it might have felt for you to do something like that. So drop it in the chat, and I'll read them later or now. My last thing with this slide was to mention, if you are a first-year student or a second-year student, this task was probably very overwhelming for you, because I'm going to presume that you are just starting to build out your networking map. So extra shout out and appreciate that you all are taking the time to do this and really starting something intimidating and awkward and, as somebody put, I think it was Abby, cringe at the beginning right now with us in a fun and safe space. But my goal too with this is that you'll continue to revisit and feel more confident talking to the people who you've laid out in your map within the next year or next fall quarter. So thanks for participating, y'all. I appreciate it. We'll move forward to the next slide just for the sake of time. Oh, I'm glad you loved your small groups. Those are always a little bit more fun. Okay. So for some tips and tricks, excuse me, I'm not going to go through elaborately all of them, but these are just some of the ones that I literally have a printout in like my workbook and I remind myself of because they're important. So the before, during, and after of networking, do your research. At a bare minimum, you should know the person's name, or if you're going to like an actual networking event, you should know a couple of people's names that you want to quote unquote target, learn their backgrounds, learn their interests, even if you don't know anything about the company they belong to or the networks they belong to, you should at least know what's their background, what's their general interests, so you don't go in there blind. That's never a good thing to do. Develop your elevator pitch. This sounds really like cliche. If you haven't been asked to do that in college, you're probably going to be asked within the next year. Keep it short and sweet, 30 to 60 seconds. Not everything has to be formal. I wish I could say that 200 times. When you enter the workforce or like to go networking with people, you don't have to change who you are and create this weird professional sounding theme. It's very weird that I see people do all the time. Just say what your interests are and why you're there. Tell them what you hope to get from the networking experience with them. And then I also put rehearse small talk in conversations, which is kind of self-explanatory. During networking, finding common ground with your connection is really important. It's probably the hardest too, just because you don't know them. But just thinking of different conversation starters, like I said, can help with that. Of course, you're going to listen and then ask for what you want. That is very difficult, especially as a first-gen student of color. You're not really taught to ask for what you want outright, but you need to be more proactive in learning how to do that, even if it's with your friends or your family. Ask for what you want. If you're going, you want an internship, make the person clear, make the person you're talking to very clear that you hope that they can mentor you and eventually offer you an internship. The last one is after networking. Sometimes we forget because we thought that we did the hard thing and the hard thing is done. And then we forget to talk to them ever again. And it's like, what? Why did we do that? So find them, send them an email, visit their office hours. I don't know, find them on LinkedIn if you use that. And make sure that you're keeping in contact. I missed a bullet point, which is reflect and debrief. And I always say, when you think you're singing really good at karaoke night and then you watch the video back and you were in fact not singing very good, that is what reflect and debrief looks like. And it sucks to do, but you need to do it so that you can sing better next time and network better next time and all of that good stuff. So very quickly and maybe very rushed, the before, during, and after of networking. Do you have any questions or thoughts hearing about this? Would you use one of these? Maybe put it in the chat. Could you see yourself doing one of these things?
I have one question to y'all. So
Yeah.
it is like, I'm a student and normally I don't know like what like professors or coaches are expecting from a student to like really have a bond or connection to help them. Like, you have any tips as a coach for other students?
Yeah, I would say we're not expecting anything from students besides general and true connection. You could come to me and you could ask me for something academic related and I'll try to help you with that. And you could tell me your favorite song of the day. and I will find a way to connect with you. I think everybody in your circle, your coach included, and anybody at Highline College, at Seattle Central, at wherever you're going to school, they just want to form a genuine connection with somebody. Like that's the human experience, you know? So I wouldn't overthink it. And I wouldn't think that you have to offer them something in return. I would just go into it open-minded, thinking, oh, I'm going to make a new friend today.
Yes,
Hopefully
I
that
agree.
helps.
I would say just be authentically you. It's very important to just be yourself, because then you create that expectation for that other person of like, this is how they're going to act all the time. And you don't want that. You just want to be you and form that genuine connection, like Liz said. So that would, I would say the same thing. I have the same answer for you in regards to that. And if you'd like to talk further about that, I think either Liz or myself, we would be very happy to meet with you and sit down and talk more into details.
Yeah. We are at 11:59, so I want to respect people's time. And I know y'all want to look at who's getting the raffles. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
more questions, reach out to your coach. They have the same training, the same advice, maybe not the same advice, but like they're willing to help you as well with all of these kinds of things. So tap into that network. Actually, if they weren't on your networking map, I'm going to be looking out for that because they should have been the first person on your networking map.
Yep. And then
So
just to finish up, we're about to head into the post survey and then the raffle. So we should be able to do that within the next 3 to 5 minutes. If you guys just want to answer this question, I know Liz had kind of asked it in the previous slide. Let us know if there's something that you've learned today that you're going to commit to and try to implement into your day-to-day and or help you build your network. So please join us in answering this question on the chat, and then we'll continue reading them as you guys are answering this question in the chat. While you guys do that, I am gonna go ahead and put up the post survey, and Liz should be able to put that link in the chat in just a moment. And if not, you scan the QR code, but it's essentially like the pre-survey. We just kind of want to get your thoughts and ideas and feedback at the end of it. And then from this, we will get started with the raffle. And Aurora will be assisting us with that in just a moment. So we'll give you guys about 2 minutes to at least open this up, get started, answer the questions, and then we'll pass the mic to Aurora to conduct the raffle for the 3 winners.
yeah. And thanks for taking the time to do the survey. They really help us. Sometimes you'll find content like this helpful and sometimes you won't. So we really want to know that the webinars we're providing for you all as students are helpful. And if they're not, then we won't do them next year, or we'll do a different topic.
Yes.
But we really want you to be able to choose them. I'll talk about
And
the raffle prizes for the sake of time as you're still
yes.
filling out the survey. Don't rush, you can take your time. The raffle prizes, woohoo, this is the first group that we are doing that gets tangible prizes. So the first one, the wheel spin that Aurora will do here in a second after we finish the survey, is an Apple AirTag. Yes, Apple AirTag, I got that right. If you're not familiar with that, it's like you put it anywhere, you lose things. I would put it over my whole life because I lose everything all the time. But usually it's like your keys, you know, it's a key finder or a wallet finder. I've seen people get creative with that. And then the second spin she'll do will be for a Hydro Flask water bottle. So you can remember to drink your water. And then the third raffle spin she'll do will be for a JBL speaker because they're just convenient and amazing and we love music. So those are the 3.
And I am going to stop sharing my screen so Aurora can share the wheel of names. Um,
Can you see my screen?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
we can.
Okie dokie. Here we go.
Drum roll.
Ooh.
Of course.
So Leo is our
Woohoo!
first winner.
Let's go. Okay, so he gets the AirTag.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Hamza. Nice. That's one of my students.
Okay, and that's the
Congratulations.
Hydro Flask.
Yes. And then we have our final winner.
Okay, y'all.
Rebecca.
What school is
Thank
Rebecca
you
from?
all. Yes.
From my school.
Okay.
So
Thank you all for showing up and for participating today. We appreciate you all taking this hour in 5 minutes, I should say, because it's a little bit
really,
past 12. But we hope you guys had fun. Please, if you haven't finished the post survey, please do that. And yeah, I mean, we'll stick around, but you guys are all free to go. We will follow up with you all with the raffle prizes afterwards. And I hope you all have a good day.
bye everyone. Thanks for coming.
You can stop recording, Liz.
Bye.